Hi there, and welcome to episode 4 of the FM channel podcast. My name is Claudio Rojas, and I'm one of the co-owners and senior recruiters at Alex Recruitment. Today, I am joined by Dominic Ponniah. Did I pronounce that correctly, Dominic?
You did, yeah. Ponniah, very good.
Dominic is one of the co-founders and CEO of Cleanology. Cleanology are an award-winning business, and Dominic is currently a finalist in the Great British Entrepreneur Award. So welcome to the show, Dominic. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Claudio. Good to be here.
Good. Well, listen, I'll get straight into it. I'm very interested to hear about your journey, really, and to understand how you got to where you are today with Cleanology. It's obviously a successful business. I'm keen to understand how you got into facilities management, really. What was your journey?
Well, by accident, really. Like so many people that come and get into facilities.
I think so, yeah. I hear that quite a bit.
Yeah, you do. You actually either hear that people get in and get out as quickly as they came in, or they get in and never leave. So I'm not quite sure which camp. I'm still in, so maybe I'll never leave. So yeah, my mother actually was going to buy a cleaning business 20 years ago, and then that fell through. And she then got a lead, a sales lead, quoted for the business and won it. And so yeah, that's kind of how it started and carried on like that, carried on, and here I am today. So yeah, back in the day, she ran it as a small home business hobby.
Yeah.
For about 3 years. I was at uni. And when I left, she wanted me to help her with the kind of marketing and the internet, and Google was in its infancy.
Right, okay.
I think we were about the second or third company on Google, paying, I don't know, 20p a click or something. I used to go on every morning and, check the rate.
Yeah.
And now I think the clicks are up to about £80. So you can see what's happened in 20 years.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So then I just got involved helping her with marketing and branding. I was involved in some other businesses at the time. And I was kind of riding a few horses, as they say. And then this one kind of just took off, actually. Since we went on the internet, online, we just ended up getting, 1 inquiry a day, 2 inquiries a day, and it just carried on. And then everything else wasn't making as much money, so I thought, fine, stop and carry on with this.
Kind of focused on that. Excellent. So what do you think is what makes you guys different to the other kind of cleaning providers that are out there? Because I mean, within FM, there's so much competition, whether it be on the soft services side or the hard services side. I mean, you're an award-winning business. How did that come about? How have you kind of got to the top?
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of competition, and I mean, to be honest, I think whatever you do, in whatever industry, there's a lot of competition. I think cleaning, there is an awful lot. A lot of people who are outside London say, I don't know how you do it in London. Isn't it like ridiculously cutthroat? And it is tough. I mean, the margins are very tight, and there is a lot of competition. But we as a business just focus on what we believe in and what we're strong in, which I suppose is a number of things. Number one is the environmental side of things. We've always tried to focus on doing things in a green way. Many years ago, I won a green blue Peter badge, and I think that kind of green blood has always stayed. Most people don't know what blue Peter is.
Did you go on blue Peter? Did you?
No, I didn't go on it. I actually won it for setting up a recycling service at school or something, I think. And they sent me this. I wrote to them and they sent me this badge, and I remember using it actually at the time, going around to Madame Tussauds and all the places you could get in for free.
Brilliant.
So yeah, and I think it's just kind of stayed in the blood, and as a business, we're always very, very focused on the environmental side of things. So whether it's the products we're using or the chemical or our vehicles, whatever it is that we're doing, we've is this the greenest way we can do it?
Yeah.
We just recently launched uniforms made from recycled plastic bottles. So first company in the UK to do that, first cleaning business in the UK.
That's amazing.
And then I've since seen loads of people doing it, so everyone's like copying, which is fine. I don't mind that. That's a good thing.
It's quite nice. I think sometimes people can be, well, it's a little that was my idea, but I think it's quite nice when people follow your footsteps, I guess.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people said, I was kind of questioning myself, should we put it out there? And I actually said to someone, I was like, do you think we should have put it out there? Because, we kind of want to keep some stuff under wraps. But they're like, do you know what? No, just go for it. Because, they'll remember, you're the first people to do it, and you're the pioneers, the market leaders, and sometimes you've just got to put your head above the parapet and go for it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we usually do. So yeah, so there's an environmental side, and then London living wage is something we're very big on, and we've been pushing that since 2008. I think it's the first contract we signed up with it, and we do a lot on that in terms of promoting it both, to our clients and within the industry and beyond. We've commissioned our own research on it. We've done some awards on it, and done some speaking events and things. So we do a lot on that. And then, we're quite big on innovation. Innovation is a big thing in the industry generally now, just in terms of technology, IT, and also, robotics equipment and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's something that we're very much, focused on as well.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that we
So
are.
what kind of, when you talk about robotics and technology, I mean, what can we see or what can we expect in the cleaning sector to appear, or what is there that we might not know about already?
Robotics is still really in its infancy. It's still very expensive, to be honest. You get those sort of really big, like what I call the Star Wars looking machines, the floor machines that go on the, around on their own. They're good for big areas like airports and things. Is that Daleks? Daleks, you call it, right? I'm not into Star Wars. So yeah, you get those things, and they're like 20 grand plus, so they're quite expensive bits of kit.
Oh wow, yeah.
And then you get the little like robotic vacuum cleaners that go around, have them at home, and that's the sort of entry point really in terms of robotics. And I think they are very good, but they do have their limitations. But that is an area which I think is really going to develop over the next 10 years. I think in 10 years time, we'll see some stuff that we never thought we'd see. We're already seeing that window cleaning with like drones and, window copters and all this kind of stuff. So it's definitely evolving, but it's still very early.
Are there many companies out there that use window copters?
I think
I remember reading about it a while back actually, and seeing it, thinking that's pretty special.
There's a German company. I went to Berlin a couple of years ago to a trade fair there, and remember seeing it. And the Germans are quite big on it. Obviously, they're big on technology, aren't they?
Yeah, of course.
There's a German company displaying it. So I don't think it's big yet, because again, it's still quite expensive. But it's a bit like the microfiber cloths when they came out 20 years ago. I think we're one of the first companies ever to use them, and they were more than £1 each at a time at the time, and now they're 50p or something less. And everyone thought we were completely mad. They're like, why would you spend that kind of money on a cloth? You can buy a roll of 100 disposables, and now nobody would use a disposable now. Everybody uses microfiber. And it's a bit like that. The robotics are still very, very new. The cost is coming down all the time. But I think we'll see more of it, definitely. Which is good, because it makes things more efficient, and you can get a better job done, and clients will get better value for money. I don't think it's going to displace people, not yet.
Not yet, no, not yet.
Not yet.
So and just want to touch on it really, I guess, because obviously we're all still feeling it, the COVID situation. Did that affect your business? Did you kind of go quieter? Did you get busier? Because obviously with cleanliness now being almost at the top of everybody's priority. I mean, how did that affect you? Was it good? Was it bad, or indifferent?
Yeah, middle of March, it was very busy. So we had, for a couple of weeks, beginning of March, we had a few calls from clients saying we've got a suspected case, and we were doing a lot of the disinfections and sprays. And then pretty much overnight, everything just shut down. Obviously, all the buildings emptied out. And then, like most businesses, or certainly in the cleaning sector, revenues dropped massively, more than 50%. Clients closed, and it was definitely tough. It was I suppose the thing is, it was just so unknown. It's like you couldn't predict. It's not like banking crisis where you kind of thought, okay, it's going to be bad, but it's not going to be like the end of the world, a disaster. Whereas this, you were kind of thinking, how bad can this thing get? It felt very different and very quick, very sudden. So we were definitely affected, and obviously furloughed a lot of staff. And it's been a sort of slow increase, I would say, since May. Picked up a little bit each month, and a lot of clients are going back. But if there were 10 operatives, there maybe are only 3 now. They just have less people in the buildings. But I think come September, people will start. Hopefully, there'll be a bit of a sort of spring, I think, in September.
I hope so. Yeah.
Probably not again until the new year. But I think September will be a bit of a watershed point in this. But yeah, I mean, I think cleaning is definitely going to be more important as a topic. For senior management, board level, cleaning obviously was just an expense, get the best deal. And now it's like, we need to make sure our staff are safe, don't, cut corners on it, make sure we're doing it properly. And there's, there's a lot of perception, isn't there? A lot of staff don't want to get on the tube. And if they get on the tube, they want to know if they're at work, they're safe. They don't want to know that, they don't want to feel like, oh, I'm at work and now I don't really want to be here because they've cut, the cleaning out of the routine. So yeah, cleaning will be a longer term winner, but I think for the next few months it's going to be tough because the buildings are empty.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, we're back in our office, and we're a handful of people in the whole building. There's like eight floors here. We've got pretty much the building to ourselves, which is quite nice, but it's also very, very strange. It's a little bit weird. We're in central London, so it's nice to see the place quieter and calmer, like this, central London. But given the circumstances, I guess it's quite, it kind of hits it. It makes it feel a bit more real. Like, oh my God, this is, it's come to a halt. Yeah, big time, big time. Cool. So what are the challenges then? I mean, for a cleaning company like yourself then, in kind of normal markets and hopefully moving forward, what would you say the main challenges are for you guys
over the next few months? You mean going forward?
Over the next few months, and I guess and beyond, kind of in general, because there's so much competition out there. How do you kind of just stay ahead of everybody else?
I think there's sort of 2 strands, I suppose. There's a sort of COVID element, and we had a situation the other day where there was a suspected case, and then we had to get all the cleaners tested, and there was a big sort of red flag alert. What's happening? We're going to have to provide cover, send them home, make sure that they don't potentially infect other people. And so that's a whole new thing which we've never experienced before. So I think we are going to have a bit of disruption. I think we're going to end up with, hopefully not too many people getting it, but I'm sure inevitably 1 or 2 of our staff are going to get it, and then we've got to obviously deal with that. So it's just trying to minimize any risk to our staff, and any kind of risk to the clients, potentially spreading it, how we manage that disruption. And then, you've got the sort of the client side managing a different expectation. A lot of people are downsizing their offices, or they've got restricted budgets because of COVID. So you're having to sort of balance, still providing a reasonable service with less money. And then, I suppose on the other side of it, you've got clients who have maybe not done well out of it, but have not been affected, and it's business as normal, and actually they want to step up the cleaning, and the cleaning is important to them, which is great. And I think, the industry is obviously hoping that that's where we head, and that people do understand that hygiene is imperative and want to spend the money on it. And then you sort of got the business as usual track, alongside COVID, and not forgetting all the other stuff that's out there, and going back to focusing on stuff like London Living Wage, the environmental things, that they don't just suddenly don't become important anymore, because long term they still are. And likewise with the innovation side of things, we're just in the middle of a build of our own brand new IT system. So stuff like that, I haven't wanted to put it on hold. If anything, we've accelerated projects like that to try and use the quieter time. So it's pretty busy. I mean, I don't think we've ever worked harder in our lives before. It's very, very busy and very intense.
No, it is absolutely. No, I agree. It's a very intense time. I think I was talking to somebody the other day and said, all you can do now at the moment, or all he's doing, he works in recruitment as well, runs his own business. is just focus on the next kind of 3 to 4 weeks at a time, and just kind of try and, I guess, just control what you can control, because there's so many things going on now that it's out of our control, that we just need to see where it all takes us.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right on that. I mean, in terms of timescales, I mean, you know, we should have been planning our 12-month forecast and budget, but you know, that's kind of been put on hold, and we've gone to a 6-month outlook, and pretty much, you know, living month by month at the moment in terms of making, you know, decisions. You can't really do much planning at the moment. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
You know, you make a plan, you think one sector is going to open, and then it changes, and yeah, so it's very hard for any business to plan.
No, it's pretty insane. It's pretty insane. So Dominic, just to nearly round up, you've been in the FM industry now for how many years? Since 2004 that you were doing Cleanology, or that you've been CEO at least anyway?
Yeah.
It's always been in the industry, bubbling away in the background. What would your advice be to anybody who's looking to get into the FM industry, or who's maybe new to the FM industry and looking to kind of progress? What would your advice to them be?
I think, you know, of all the industries to be in right now, I think FM and cleaning is probably one of the better ones.
Yeah.
I think, you know, it might take a bit of a short-term knock, but I think if you take a slightly longer term view on it, there are always going to be buildings, and people who say the office is dead and all that, it's just not going to happen. I think the office will change, and I think the way people work will definitely change. And you know, there's going to be a lot more home working, but the office is not dead, and buildings are never going to disappear. You know, people don't want to be stuck imprisoned essentially in their homes. And yeah, I think, you know, it's a great sector in that it's pretty recession proof, in that there's always a demand. I think COVID probably is gonna test it to its max. But I think if you look at it longer term, you know, London is always putting up new buildings. Every time you go to the city, there are new skyscrapers going up. It's a growing market, and you know, you want to work in an industry that's growing.
Yeah.
And you know, of all the industries, it's something that people always need. And I think, you know, there's a great career progression. I mean, you can see it in some of our own team. You know, we've had you know, our head of people who started with us, you know, as a temp in our office, is now, you know, in charge of all of our HR, payroll. We've got a lot of our managers, you know, who's been with us for 11 years. We've got a lot of managers who started as cleaners, site supervisors, who've worked their way up to area supervisors, area managers. And that's absolutely great to see. And, you know, whether they continue their career with us or beyond, you know, hopefully with us, but there's a great progression path. And there are a lot of new companies as well on the block. And yeah, I think it's an interesting time. I think that there's definitely also going to be a bit of realignment, and I think customers are going to have, you know, businesses being hit so badly, I think customers are going to actually do quite well out of it in terms of getting very good deals, good contracts, flexibility. Yeah, I think it's a great time to be in the FM sector.
Cool. No, I agree. And I just going back to what you just said about the office not being dead, I completely agree. I think at the very beginning of the lockdown, everybody was talking about, oh, this is going to change the world. This is it. No one's ever going to go back to the office. And I think that the novelty is now worn off for a lot of people. I mean, for a lot of people, I personally couldn't work at home because I've got two young children. I don't have a spare room. And it's, everyone's saying that the office is dead. It's totally not. I agree with you. It's the way we work will definitely change. I think businesses need to be a bit more flexible as to, work from home. And it's effective when it's once or twice a week or once every 2 weeks, but every day for the last 5 months, I think it's not great for everybody, but
you know what, it's not good. You need that separation, but at least I do, and I think a lot of people do. You need that separation between work and home. You need that headspace, and you know, that I know going on the train is a bit of a pain and all the rest of it, but actually just being able to switch and have that journey, you kind of then go, right, I'm in work mode, I'm going back, I'm in home mode, and you know, you can read a book or do, you know, whatever on the way. It's not the end of the world. But I think it will change. I think definitely where people are going in 5 days a week, they're not going to do that anymore. And I think there will be a better balance. I think there was probably too much in the office direction.
Probably, I think you're right, yeah.
So, you know, these things come along and they shake things up, and we will learn to adapt, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Dominic, listen, I'm going to just wrap it up now. So listen, I really appreciate your time. Hopefully that will inspire a few people in the industry moving forward, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
So yeah, thanks again.
Thanks, Claudia. And all the best.
Take care. Bye-bye.